AJ? AJ?
Yes, sir.
Give me your hand. All right. Here. Here. That woman sitting right there between them. Have you ever seen her before?
Yes, sir.
Who is that?
My mother.
It began as a tragedy, a quiet Florida afternoon, a mother's 911 call, and the death of a 7-year-old girl. But as the days unfolded, what first seemed like an accident revealed something much darker. A child's memory, a community's disbelief, and a courtroom testimony that would change lives forever. This is the story of Adrianna Hutto and her brother, AJ. Adrianna was 7 years old, small, freckled, and full of curiosity. She lived with her mother, Amanda Lewis, and her younger brother, AJ, in Esto, Florida, a tiny town near the Alabama border, surrounded by fields, dirt roads, and the slow rhythm of small-town life. Neighbors remember Adrianna as shy but sweet, always smiling when she played outside with her brother. She loved to draw, to laugh, and to help her mother around the house. From the outside, it looked like a simple family, a mother raising 2 children on her own, doing her best to keep things together. But beneath the surface, there were quiet tensions. Amanda Lewis was young and often overwhelmed. Family members would later say that she was strict, easily frustrated, and carried the weight of single parenthood heavily. Still, nothing suggested what would happen that August morning. It was the 8th of August 2007. The late summer sun was already rising over Holmes County when a call came into 911. A mother said she had found her daughter unresponsive in the backyard pool. Paramedics arrived at the small home on a rural dirt road. They found Adrianna lying near the shallow plastic pool, drenched, pale, and still. Amanda Lewis told them she had gone inside for a moment, and when she returned, Adrianna was floating face down in the water. The child was rushed to the hospital, but despite efforts to save her, she was pronounced dead that afternoon. At first, it appeared to be a heartbreaking accident, a drowning in a quiet Florida yard. But something didn't feel right. Investigators noticed that the pool was small, barely knee-deep for a 7-year-old. There were no signs Adrianna had been playing there, and the details of Amanda's story seemed uncertain. The following day, child welfare investigators spoke with AJ, Adrianna's younger brother. He was just 6 years old. They brought him into a softly lit room with toys on the table and crayons nearby, a place meant to make children feel safe. At first he was quiet. Then, with a small hesitant voice, he began to speak. He said his mother had been upset that morning. He said Adrianna had done something wrong, spilled something maybe, and that his mother had told her to go outside. He said he followed, and that's when he saw his mother at the pool. When asked what happened next, AJ looked down at the table and whispered, "She dunked her." The investigators asked, "Who did?" "My mama." "What was your mama doing?" "Killing my sister." "How was she doing that?" "Covering her mouth, holding her under the water." He drew a picture, a simple crayon sketch of a pool, his sister and his mother standing over her. It was a drawing of a child, but it would become one of the most powerful pieces of evidence in the case. Within days, Amanda Lewis was arrested and charged with first-degree murder and aggravated child abuse. She maintained her innocence, telling people it had been a tragic accident. She said her son was confused, that he didn't understand what he'd seen. But investigators pointed to inconsistencies in her statements and to medical evidence showing signs that Adrianna may have been held underwater. The story of an accidental drowning no longer fit. At her trial in 2008, the courtroom was still as the jury listened to AJ's recorded testimony. He sat small and nervous in the video, his voice trembling but steady as he told again what he saw that day. When asked how he knew his sister was gone, he said softly, "She stopped moving." On a screen, the jurors saw the drawing, the pool, the two figures, the motion lines showing what his words could barely say. It was quiet, devastating testimony from a child too young to understand the weight of the truth he carried. Amanda Lewis took the stand in her own defense. She said she loved her children, that she would never harm them. But the evidence, the medical findings, the inconsistencies, and the unwavering voice of her son told another story. After deliberation, the jury returned with a verdict: guilty. Amanda Lewis was sentenced to life in prison without parole. AJ was incredibly young, only 6 years old when he gave testimony that would lead to his mother's conviction. Imagine the weight of that, a small child, expected to remember horror, speak in a courtroom, describe what he saw. It's heartbreaking and brave, but what stands out just as much is what he's done since. Over the years, AJ has quietly rebuilt a life, away from spotlight, choosing healing over fame. Though he suffered the unimaginable, he has shown resilience. He has spoken publicly that he stands by every word he said in court. He describes his childhood with Amanda Lewis as darkness, trauma, physical abuse. Both Adrianna and I were hit. His move into a new environment, adopted by a good Christian family, was a turning point. Today, though, details are rightly private. He is reported to be living under a new identity, striving for normalcy and seeking stability in adulthood. For AJ, the years that followed were shaped by loss, the loss of his sister and the loss of his mother. He was placed in the care of relatives and then a new family, and began therapy to help him process the trauma of what he had witnessed. As he grew older, he stepped away from the public eye, seeking peace and privacy far away from the story that once defined his childhood. Today, the house in Esto is quiet, the pool is gone, Amanda Lewis remains in prison, maintaining her innocence, and Adrianna's memory lives on, not through headlines or courtroom testimony, but in the small drawings, photographs, and the recollections of those who knew her. The case of Adrianna Hutto is one of profound sadness, a reminder of how fragile family life can be, and how tragedy can unfold behind the closed doors of ordinary homes. It's a story of a little boy's truth, spoken through fear and love, and of justice system trying to understand what happened on a still Florida morning. In the end, what remains is the image of a quiet yard, a shallow pool, and the voice of a child whose courage gave a name to what otherwise have been called an accident. Thank you so much for listening to today's story. Until next time, stay safe.